Has a dream ever saved your life? My dreams literally saved mine, as well as brought an old flame back into my life, whom I later married. Hi, I'm Sheila Balgobin, and I'm known as the Dream Decipherer. And today I'm going to share with you some information about the power of dreams and your mental fitness. But before I do that, I'd like to share some interesting facts about dreams with you. The first fact is, and you probably already realized this one, is that we will forget our dreams within the first 5 minutes of waking. I know that's true for me, and I work with dreams all the time, but if we don't note them down, we just forget within the first few minutes of waking up. A second interesting fact about dreams is that before the advent of color television, only 15% of people dreamed in color. Nowadays, up to 75% of people dream in color, including blind people who had sight at one time. Another fact that you may not be aware of about dreams is that the people who appear in our dreams are not necessarily themselves. Dreams are about us and from us, and the unconscious mind will hang the message of the dream on familiar things, people, and places. So what exactly do dreams have to do with your mental fitness? Well, let me share a few little stories with you that will help clarify things. When I was working as a drug and alcohol counselor, I noticed that my clients, as long as they were taking drugs or drinking, did not dream. However, once they stopped taking drugs and drinking, they dreamt constantly, constantly, to the point where they seem to go into psychotic episodes because their unconscious mind was breaking into their waking lives, and it would make it seem as if they were having hallucinations. In a study that was done at the University of Chicago, they looked at women who had gone through bad divorces and their dreams. During the sleep study that was conducted, there were three groups of women, actually. Women who were happily married and not thinking of divorce, which was their control group. The other two groups were women who had gone through a bad divorce and were dreaming. And the third group was women who had gone through a bad divorce and not dreaming. During the sleep study, what they found was when they woke up the women who were going into REM sleep, they would ask them what it was they were dreaming about. And they were dreaming about their exes or some aspect of their relationship with that ex. The other group of women either reported that they didn't dream or they couldn't remember their dreams. And the results of the study showed that the women who dreamt actually recovered more quickly and completely from their bad divorces than the women who did not. Dreams have a physiological as well as psychological impact on our lives, and not just the result of cheap red wine or a dodgy takeaway meal. They have a power and they have important information that can guide our lives and help us to make healthy decisions that are best for us. Now, why is that? Well, dreams come from the deepest part of ourselves, the unconscious mind, which knows all about us, our hopes, our dreams, our fears, etc. Whereas the part of us, the conscious mind, the part of us that says I, can only take in a small amount of information at any one time. Too much information would literally make our conscious minds just implode. We couldn't handle the information overload. But the unconscious mind clocks everything that is coming into our awareness, whether we're consciously aware of it or not. So it's not just the birds singing outside, the neighbors arguing upstairs, a car backfiring, etc. The unconscious mind is also taking in information from the environment that is pertinent to us, whatever that may be. But you have to be careful. The unconscious mind is a bit of a trickster, you see. It uses things like metaphors, slips of the tongue, forgetting things, etc., in order to get our attention. And if you have a dream and you forget some of it, that's actually okay, because the thing with the highest emotional charge behind it is what you will remember. It's the most important part of the dream that you will retain. Though some dreams may be so clear and so powerful that you remember them in full detail, even years after having the dream. Despite seeming like a bunch of nonsense, dreams have a very real logic and a language all their own. But in order to understand the message behind a dream, you need to be able to crack the code of your dreams. The symbols in our dreams, whether they're people, places, or things, all have a meaning that is very specific to you and your life, which is actually why dream books are of little help, for the simple reason that they're too general. After all, would a dream book take into account the fact that you had a fight with your spouse, that you hate your job and your teenagers are driving you wild, and that you always wanted to be a ballerina? I think not. So there's limited value in using dream books to understand your dreams, because it's not pertinent exactly to your life. Over the years, in fact, some 25 plus years, I have helped clients to not only to understand their dreams by cracking the code or helping them to crack the code, but I also teach my clients how to be able to crack the code of their own dreams and being able to pull out what I call the gold in the gobbledygook of their dreams. Over the years, I have helped my clients not only to be able to understand the message of their dreams, but also have taught them how to work with their dreams and crack the code of their dreams so that they can pull out the gold in the gobbledygook, as I call it, of their dreams. I also discovered over time that there were various types of dreams, and I've identified 5 that I find are categories that most dreams will fit into. The first category is the smokestack dream. This is the dreams that burn off the remains and minor stresses of the day that you didn't have a chance to express your frustration, anger, disappointment, whatever, during waking hours. Somebody cuts you off on the way to work, you had a fight with your spouse, your boss is driving you crazy with deadlines, etc. And these little snippets will appear in your dreams as a means to burn off that stressful energy. The second type of dreams I have identified is the snapshot dream. It's as if your unconscious mind is saying, this is what is like for your soul this day. So it frames a situation or a state of mind that may be currently going on with you to help you gain clarity. Another type of dream is what I call problem solving or creativity dreams. Do you know how many things were created and invented because of dreams? Sewing machines, Google. Yes, Google was created as a result of a dream. Einstein's E = mc², the novel Frankenstein, the double helix of DNA. All of these things were created on the back of dreams. Then there's what I call the big medicine dreams. And these are the dreams that are so powerful and are so marked in your life that even years later, you will recall them with strength and clarity. These are dreams that are usually prophetic in nature. The dream that I mentioned about a dream saving my life, and the dream that brought my second husband back into my life are examples of these big medicine dreams. And finally, a category that I recently discovered was communal dreaming. Now, I knew about communal dreaming. For example, the Navajo and Hopi peoples of the Southwest United States will have their elders sit down and dream the world that their great, 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 great grandchildren will live in. And the Aborigine people of Australia speak of dream time, where the past, the present, and future are all connected through this dream time. But in a more mundane way, I found out from clients of mine that communal dreaming still happens on an everyday level. This particular client dreamt of teaching one of his sons and the son's friend some spiritual teachings during the dream. The next day, the son came to the client and their spouse and said, I had this dream where my friend and I were learning these words, and repeated the words that, not accurately, but close enough for the father to know that the dream that he had teaching his son and his friend actually took place. So we can dream for our community, and we can communicate with one another through dreams. So, well, all of this is just to say that dreams have a power and an importance that is vital for us on a physiological level and an emotional level. When we don't dream, we develop psychological problems. We can even develop physical problems because that energy that needs to be expressed is not being released and either paid attention to or at least acknowledged. And such is the power of dreams that it has information that is vital, really vital for helping us to live our lives in the best way possible and to make decisions based on what is right and appropriate for us. It's like a little kite being floated up by our unconscious mind saying, hey, this is important, pay attention. So what do dreams have to do with mental fitness? Well, as you can see, the dreams have the power to help us to heal, as well as to help us to grow and change. And unfortunately, we have our internal saboteurs, which we have picked up from since childhood, that make us think and act and interact with others in certain ways, often without us even being aware that we're being driven by these internal saboteurs.